Then next is the as expansion and exhaust process occurs during the travel of piston from TDC to BDC along with the transfer of fresh air and fuel mixture from the crankcase to the top of the piston. Hence, all the four processes occurs during 2 strokes and 1 revolution of the crankshaft. Now, let us discuss the 2-stroke CI engine or the diesel engine. So, this engine is more advantageous than the 2-stroke SI engine. There is no loss of fuel with exhaust gases, as intake charge is only air, because in case of SI engine the intake was the only air fuel mixture or the air fuel mixture. Hence, many of the high output diesel engines work on this cycle. The general disadvantages common to both the 2-stroke gasoline and the diesel engine is greater cooling and the lubricating oil requirement due to one power stroke per crankshaft rotation and higher temperature, which results in high consumption of lubricating oil. During the piston travel from BDC to TDC, air enters into the crankcase. When piston reaches TDC and reverse its motion to BDC, air in crankcase get partly compressed and is transferred from crankcase to the top of the piston through transfer port. Then the piston moves from BDC to TDC. The compression of air occurs by the top side of the piston, while on the bottom side of the piston, air again enters into the crankcase. Upon the piston reaching TDC, fuel is injected into the compressed air, which is at high temperature and the pressure. The energy released causes piston to go back from TDC to BDC, that is expansion process. Piston reaches BDC, it simultaneously forces air in crankcase and to get transferred to a cylinder space and forces burnt gases out of cylinder, that is the exhaust process. The top of the piston has usually a projection to deflect the fresh charge toward the top of the cylinder before flowing through the exhaust port. This has the dual purpose of scavenging of upper part of the cylinder of the combustion products and preventing the fresh charge from the flowing directly towards the exhaust port. So what do you mean by scavenging? The scavenging is the process which occurs in the 2-stroke engine, is pushing the exhausted gases charge out of the cylinder and drawing in the fresh charge in the cylinder. So how we can differentiate that SI engine and CI engine? So it is differentiated based on the following factors. One is thermodynamic cycle. In SI engine it is works on the Otto cycle. The CI engine works on diesel cycle. Then type of fuel used, petrol or gas, though it is costly. It uses diesel as a fuel. It is cheaper one as compared to petrol. The fuel supplies to supply the fuel, it requires carburetor, it requires fuel injector. Then compression ratio of SI engine is 6 to 10 and here it is 14 to 22. Then combustion or ignition of charges, that spark plug is required, here compression ignition is there. Then thermal efficiency, it has low efficiency, it has high efficiency. The weight, lighter in weight due to the low compression ratio and the low peak pressure. Here is what heavier in weight, higher compression ratio, high peak pressure. Then speed and operation, that's what it runs with, or it operates with high speed, that is the range is from 2000 to 6000 rpm. It operates with low speed 400 rpm, that is medium speed 400 to 1200, and high speed is for 1200 to 3500. The noise and vibrations produced by the SI engine are less and CI engine more. Then what are the pollution created by the SI engine is less and it creates more pollution. The cost of the SI engine is less. Again, maintenance cost also is high due to it uses costly fuel. The initial cost is also very high. Applications of the SI engine, where engine is used, develop less power and generally used for the light duty vehicles, mopeds, cars, aircrafts. It is this CI engine used for the heavy vehicles, tractors, trucks, locomotives, buses, etc. Then we will see the advantages of SI engine over CI engine. The initial cost is less. First point. Second point we can highlight here. From a given output, it is lighter in weight and occupies less space. Due to the low compression, it is easy to start. Then flotation of speed is minimum, thus requires lighter flywheel. Then we will see the limitations. It requires costly fuels and the maintenance cost is very high. The chances of pre-ignition of charge is also more. It is less dependable, suitable only for light duty vehicles. Then we can have the comparison of two-stroke and four-stroke engine cycles. All events are completed in 2 strokes of the piston, that is, or 1 revolution of the crankshaft. There is 1 power stroke for every revolution of crankshaft. In case of 4-stroke, all events are completed in 4 strokes of the piston or 2 revolution of the crankshaft. It doesn't have valves, only ports are provided, but in case of 4-stroke engine, valves are provided. The charge first enters into the crankcase and therefore crankcase made gas tight. The charge is directly admitted into the engine cylinder. The torque is uniform in case of two-stroke engine, requires lighter flywheel. The torque is not uniform, requires heavier flywheel. The volumetric efficiency of two-stroke engine is very low. The volumetric efficiency of four-stroke engine is very high. Then whatever the specific fuel consumption is more due to the fuel loss during the exhaust. And this four-stroke engine specific fuel consumption is less. The elimination of suction and exhaust stroke minimizes the friction losses. More friction losses we can find in the four-stroke engine. The consumption of more lubricating oil, it consumes less lubricating oil. More noisy in operation, it's less noisy, that is a four-stroke engine. Initial cost is less, initial cost is more. Higher rate of wear and tear, lower rate of wear and tear. Generally employed in the light duty vehicles such as mopeds, scooters, motorcycles, etc. It is employed with heavy duty vehicles such as cars, buses, trucks, tractors, power generation, industrial engines, etc. The cooling systems. The reason for providing the cooling systems that the even expansion of piston in the cylinder may result the seizure of piston. High temperature reduces the strength of the piston and cylinder inner part or the inner thickness. The overheated cylinder may lead to pre-ignition of the charge in case of SI engine. The physical and chemical changes may occur in the lubricating oil, which may cause the stocking of the piston rings and excessive wear of the cylinder. There are 2 methods of cooling of IC engine. One is air cooling and second is indirect cooling. So air cooling is what? Heat is carried out by the air flowing over and around the engine cylinder. Used in two-wheelers, fins are cut on the cylinder. Let us see the advantages and disadvantages. It has simple cooling system, no danger of cooling leakage, no trouble of freezing of coolant. Installation is easier. No external compound like crank and radiator. Then we'll see some disadvantages. Their movement is noisy, non-uniform cooling, output of engine is less, maintenance is not easy, applicable for small compression ratio.